Hey everybody, this is my Gudgeon slash T Bar tank. I also have half a dozen Marci Rainbowfish in there. And recently I added a Powerhead. I wanted to create a little more circulation in there. I was getting some detritus that was settling on the bottom, and I didn't want to see that. I always like to have redundant circulation as well in case something goes wrong with my filter. The water circulation caused by the Powerhead will actually help keep your tank alive a lot longer than if you only have a single filtration and your filter gives out on you and the tank goes stagnant. You don't want that to happen at all. So what I did was I put it in the back. I put it facing directly forward, and it creates a nice sort of counterclockwise flow. You'll see how the rainbow fish here are swimming right into the current, and then they sort of fall back and then they dart forward again. It's actually quite enjoyable to watch. It's almost like an invisible conveyor belt or treadmill that they're on. The problem I'm having is all of that crap in the middle of the tank right there. All that detritus and fish waste is really just building up right there in the middle. So what I want it to do is stay aloft and stay waterborne until it gets picked up by my filter back there. Now I do need to get the roots off of it again, because you will notice I've got some floating temple plant again. So apparently my T-bar has gotten in there and dug up some of the temple plant that was rooted in back there or somewhere. I'm not sure. He apparently has not been able to get that one up out from underneath the rock where I wedged it the other day. Nor has he bothered with this small one up here in the front that I sort of have kind of wedged next to that rock. But back in this back corner, he does not want those plants in the ground. They just seem to get on his nerves no end. So I got to do something with that, and I am going to adjust that power head. You can see it right there in the reflection on the glass. That's not it itself, but that is a reflection, and you can see how it's blowing the water forward like this. It gives those rainbow fish something nice to do. You will also notice, possibly, the tank's kind of dark, but if you see how it's like sort of sparkly down there in the corner, that is the little grains of sand that are flashing and moving around because there's that much current that it's actually swirling the sand in a little whirlpool in the corner. You can see where it's sort of lifted it all out of the corner and piled it up right there. So there's a significant amount of current moving through the tank. That is a 425 gallon per hour power head, and this is a 40 gallon tank. So that's more than 10 times the volume of the tank per hour. Plus I've got 525 gallons. Oh, I'm sorry, this is the smaller filter. I've got 375 gallons per hour nominal coming out of my filter. So I've got, quite a lot of circulation in this tank. At least bare minimum 500 gallons an hour move around this tank. Now that's not necessarily moving through my filter, but that is turnover in the tank. It's swirling around 500 times the volume of this tank every hour. So we're going to get in there and move that power head so it blows in a different direction and see if we can't get that huge volume of water doing what I want it to do, which is keeping all that detritus lifted up and moving around until my filter head picks it up. I'm also going to replant that plant somewhere, and I'm going to try to get the roots scraped off of the filter intake so that the detritus goes in there a little more freely. So sit tight, let me get started, and we will just come back and we'll do the before and after, and we'll have a look at what it looks like after I get it all put back together. Alright, and I just finished doing it. So we still have a lot of debris and detritus floating around the tank. I decided I'm tired of fighting with the T-bar. He wins as far as I'm concerned, if that's the way he wants to look at it. And I'm not going to put that plant back in there. I just went ahead and pulled it out. It's lush enough, and this plant back here will still finish growing in, and that'll sort of start straightening up and growing upwards instead of sideways. I kind of got it wedged under that rock a little bit. So this tank will certainly fill in more, and I've got more than enough that temple plant in here already. So I just went ahead and pulled it out, and what I actually did with it was I just stuck it in my quarantine tank down there for the time being. That'll keep it alive. I'll even probably root it in down there and see what it does. It's inert gravel, so it probably won't do too well. You can actually see that's the remains of another one that I stuck in there a long time ago, and it just never really took off. And I've got, of course, that green cyanobacteria in there. That is still my Cory that had the barbels chewed off or whatever from my Black Ghost knifefish tank. He's still in there and doing fine. Again, I just haven't bothered to get around to putting him somewhere else. And as a little side note, since we're looking right at it, look at all that red. It's back again already. This stuff grows in this tank with a vengeance. So that's it. I removed that plant. I got all the roots off of the filter intake, and I switched the Powerhead over to the way I was talking. And now it is, it's better. It's still going to take a little bit of time to find out what happens. I've got the Powerhead now much lower in the tank, and I've got it on the side facing across the back and kind of downward a little bit. You can see a little better look at it in the reflection in the glass over there if the fish would get out of the way. So I'm hoping, and you can actually see the plants moving back there, I'm hoping as that blows across the back and blows everything towards the filter intake, what will happen is as that lays in there on the bottom and the fish dart down there and they flip their fins and kick up as they're, you know, getting food, if it gets kicked into the current, it will get pulled around and drug back there. You can already see how this area is starting to clear out a little bit, so my normal formula probably is going to be the one I go with. I do it that way for a reason. It tends to work pretty well the way I set the water flow up in my tanks. So we'll give it a couple more days and we'll check on it again and see how well that's working out. And in the meantime, I'm going to leave that stuff in there just for the purposes of seeing how well this works out. So thanks for watching. Please subscribe if you're not already. You never really know what you're going to get with me. I'm working on a few things right now, so you don't want to miss anything I got coming up. So thanks again. Hope to see you real soon on the next one.